Please welcome Mr. Jeremy Leibler, President of the Zionist Federation of Australia.
We are here tonight carrying something heavy, but also something shared. Bondi was not just an act of terror. It was a rupture. It tore apart the illusion that distance would keep hatred at bay. It has forever changed the way Australian Jews see themselves in this country. Within hours of the attack, President Herzog called me. "Israel is with you," he said. "Just as you stood with us, we now stand with you." In Jewish tradition, there is a phrase in the Talmud, Kol Yisrael Aravim Ze Lazeh. All of Israel are responsible for one another. We are a single, animated body, animated by a single soul. When limbs in Australia are riddled with bullets, the heart bleeds in Israel. Eyes weep in New York, and breath catches in London. We feel each other deeply, symbiotically, no matter what the distance is. And since the 7th of October, Israel has consumed our waking moments. We have cried and prayed, advocated and ruminated. Our gaze, fixed anxiously on Israel, has never strayed. I'll never forget the moment after Bondi, when families of Israeli hostages who had been held in Gaza reached out to us to give us strength. For 2 years, we stood with them, and suddenly they stood with us. It was vulnerable and deeply, deeply moving. But ultimately, it was a reminder that we are bound not by geography, but by peoplehood. Mr. President, your presence here tonight is Jewish peoplehood lived. And our community understands that, not as theory, but as memory. Many of our families have come from places where being Jewish meant living with fear. Europe, Russia, South Africa, the Middle East. We came to Australia and we built full lives. We flourished, we contributed. We believed that we could live openly as Jews without having to second-guess our safety. For decades, that sense of safety and security rested on two covenants. The first was the covenant of Israel, that a Jewish state exists as a sanctuary and a safeguard for the Jewish people. The other was the covenant of Australia, that our government would protect its Jewish citizens fully and without hesitation. A covenant that was strengthened by decades of bipartisan support and relationship between successive Israeli and Australian governments. In the past 2.5 years, both of those covenants have been tested. October the 7th shattered the illusion of Israel's invincibility. And here in Australia, we have watched anti-Semitism creep from the fringes into respectable places, into academia, the arts, and progressive circles, where our fear is mocked, our history is denied, and our right to self-determination is put on trial. The truth is that in 2026, the respectable way to express anti-Semitism is through the demonisation of Israel. When Israel is smeared as uniquely evil, Zionist becomes a safe word for Jew. And that is why false accusations of genocide and apartheid are not legitimate critique. They are a verdict. They are a moral inversion designed to strip Jews of legitimacy and turn Jewish survival into a crime. Bondi reminded us what happens when hatred is tolerated in polite society. It metastasizes and it destroys us from within. And it is for this reason that the President's visit at this very moment matters so deeply. Not as ceremony, as clarity. The invitation to President Herzog for a state visit tells the purveyors of anti-Semitic hate that Australian Jews belong here. That our connection to Israel is legitimate, and that attempts to demonise it will not be tolerated. It was a choice, the right choice, and I commend the Australian government for making it. If there is one thing that our enemies should now understand, it is this: we are not going anywhere. The State of Israel is not going anywhere. We will not be silenced. We will not retreat from our identity, from our values, or from our place in this country. Jewish history has shown time and time again that every attempt to extinguish us only strengthens our resolve. We add light. We do not hide it. And when Jewish life is lived proudly and openly, without apology, it becomes its own answer to hatred. President Herzog and First Lady Michal have embodied that spirit in Israel, and they embody it here tonight. In Israel, they have been a source of strength and unity during one of the darkest periods in the nation's history. They have stood